We're going to talk about the fifth dimension out here.
Pack your bags and get ready to leave this coronavirus.
Cletus, did you bring the pyrite crystals?
They're right here, Mom. They're right here.
Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumedh. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Sumedh as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
Bronze crown in Latin.
Yeah, this whole coronavirus thing is actually, it's a sign that's telling us that as humans, we all need to be working more on our crown chakra.
Yeah. Or crowning, right? We're getting birthed into a new dimension.
Into a new dynasty.
Ooh.
The fifth dimension. Shit. Oh,
dang.
Shit. 5D doesn't stand for dimension, it stands for dynasty.
Fifth dynasty.
No, Mom. No, I'm okay. I gotta do this. I gotta record this. No.
Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast. How's that?
With Ivan and Sumedh.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We're recording already, by the way.
Yeah. How are you doing, man? How's the lockdown situation for you?
Dude, I'll tell you. I'm somebody that likes uncertainty, right? I thrive in uncertainty, right? I like that. Like, it's like, it just forces me to think, right? Now, it's also thrown me off my schedule, right? It's also thrown me off my schedule. And it's made me realize a lot about myself, right? Like, sort of like with everything that's going around, it's made me like, it's just you staying at home makes you realize a lot about yourself.
Definitely.
Right? And in a way that is meditation, right? Is spending more time at home in a comfort space, right? And then seeing as those feelings that come up, right? Those things that make you feel weird in your own house, you're fucking up in your own house, right? Bad communication lines between other people, like you need extra communication, or you're seeing how you're using your time ineffectively, right? That is meditation, when you are in your comfort, in a place of comfort, right? It was like sitting down on a chair, sitting down on a little mat, you're comfortable, right? And then beginning to explore the things within yourself that are like, hey, you know what? I don't like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like tuning into yourself. And like, we have so much time to do that now. It's almost like we've pressed a reset button. We're like cocooning, you know, like how a caterpillar is in that chrysalis. And it's sort of just like, we're like being pushed to consume because they love eating leaves, right? Those motherfuckers love eating leaves. So we're just like in this consumption, and through that, it's like something good is going to come from this. Like society as we know it is going to be different.
Sorry to stop you, bro, but I think I just heard you say that butterflies eat leaves.
I'm a caterpillar's dog. Yeah.
Like, since when?
Butterflies. Huh? Yeah, I'm at caterpillars. Yeah, those sneaky green little squiggles. Yeah, and then they transform into a butterfly, right? That just flies around freely everywhere. It can just go wherever it wants to now. But it goes through that painful period, and the growth takes time, because if you pop a hole into the chrysalis, the butterfly comes out dead, right? If you try to speed up the process of that transformation. Like you're like, oh, I need this quick. I need the quick fix. I need the Band-Aid solution. I need to buy that random self-help product that promises me abs in one day. But instead it's like, slow it down, brother man. Slow it down. Slow it down to speed it up.
And that's so true. I think like two like big points that I got from what you said was like, don't force it. Don't force it.
Yeah. And also, butterflies eat leaves.
and then number 3 was that anybody who tells you that they're like the chosen ones, that you can't do what they're doing, or who tells you that you can get these results in a matter of like something outrageous. I guess it has to be double checked. You got to double check, right? But then you look at like Dr. Joe Dispenza, and like, I mean, after like one of his meditations, for sure you're a different person.
Have you done that one where he's like, in the space, like his meditation where he's talking about like the nose, but then the space around the nose, the ears, but then the space around the ears?
No, but I've done stuff like that. Yeah. I did one where I was like looking at the space within my own mouth. Like feeling all my organs, and dude, like one time, I mean, this is like a bit like too much, right? But I literally felt like the energy go from my stomach as it was the ball of gas forming, and I could feel it go through all of my intestine tubes, my small and my big intestines, like a gas, right? And then I could feel it like moving down my anus, and it forming like a really strong ball, and then like a fart.
Fart, yeah. I knew you were going there, yeah. Man. I think that the great thing about Mr. Dispenza is that Mr. Pez Dispenza dispenser. No, the great thing about Mr. Dispenza is that he has like a lot of scientific research to back up these concepts of like the pineal gland, or like being able to notice that the people that go through his 3-day program, like they actually saw through heart math that their centers were not aligned, like their chakras weren't in the right places. And after 3 days of just meditation, of being with themselves, and really letting out all that grief, all the shame, just realigns to create a heart-brain connection.
Bro, are you serious? Is that what happens? Is that like the chakras move to the sides? Is that what you're saying?
That's what it was showing in the diagram, bro. I was watching his thing on Gaia Rewired.
What did it look like?
It's like, let's say your throat is aligned, it's here, but then what if it's like right there? It's not aligned.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying? So the auric field is like, one is over here, one is over there. It's not aligned.
2 feet away from your throat. Chakras not aligned. I always thought about
over there.
Yeah, I always thought about it like your chakras were either like congested or uncongested, or active or underactive. But like, whenever people said unaligned, I never understood them as literally they're trying to form a line in your own body.
Right. I mean, that's what the kind of map showed, or the kind of way they conducted that research. I'm not too sure how they did that exactly, because it seems kind of weird to measure auras with science. Anyway, so one thing that was interesting is I was looking through Teal Swan video, because I opened my heart chakra recently, guys, in the spiral. So yeah, bro.
Do you love me? Do you love me soon?
I love you, brother.
Oh, you see that, guys? He doesn't love me.
No, man, I really freaking felt it. And you got that message from me, right? Where I was talking about like dominating with love and being a heart-led king and imagining your spine like a sword. That was
Yeah.
like moments after. That was in the nighttime where I was like really thinking this thing through. Like I let go of a lot of shame around. So I had a pattern in me that was relating love with sex. So it was like combined.
Ooh,
Yeah.
so
Bad boy.
boy, you made a mistake right there.
Yeah, bro. So yeah, once I explored that heart center stuff, like what Teal Song was saying is like you can actually go clockwise with your hands and help your heart out in that way. I always just touch my heart because that like helps.
My part would be this way, and then if you want to go throat, you would go counterclockwise, and then if you want to go third eye, you would go clockwise again.
I think it's always clockwise. I'm not too sure though.
Really? No, I understood it as like they spin in like like. But then
I'm not too sure about that.
There's just so much
Different
information.
different teachers say different things about that, so I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not something we can like scientifically measure yet. So, it's everybody.
Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
Trust yourself with it. Yeah, true. Your own body knows it the best. Yeah, because it's all nerve fibers, right? It's nerve endings and stuff. So just trust your nerves. You feel nervousness on a specific part of the body, it's probably related to some chakra.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, always anything that you feel with your own body. I always say like, what does this have to do with my chakras? Right? What's going on with my chakras if I can see this like happening right now, like in my skin or whatever.
So it seems like the lockdown isn't that serious there, is it? Like, is it or like people like being told to stay at home?
Bro, I mean, I'm confused as hell, man. I'm fucking confused as hell. Cause it's like, oh, there's work, there's not work, there's work, there's not work. I'm like, bro, like.
Bro, if Coachella's being canceled, it seems like it's pretty serious. Like,
I mean, dude, if anybody goes to Coachella, they're fucked, dude. They got coronavirus on deck, dude. Like you got it.
Yeah, for sure.
You're signing up for. You go into Coachella, you're signing up to get the coronavirus. You're like, fuck it, I'm okay. I'm okay with suffering for a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the April? I was telling you about like how they stopped April Fool's pranks on that day.
Pranks, dude. I never liked those anyway.
Yeah. It's like trust nobody. I already do that. You know what I mean? So every day is April Fool's.
Shit. You know, I like what one time Arash, he said, you actually always give your trust until your trust is broken. Right? It's not like someone doesn't have your trust. It's like they have your trust until it is broken. Right?
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that.
I actually wrote something down about trust. When my heart chakra was opening, I wrote down, let the trust rust away. And then I said, unless you are true to yourself, or something like that. I thought was interesting.
Let the trust rust away. What do you mean?
Like, yes, if someone breaks your trust, obviously, like you can let it go. You know what I mean? You don't need to be attached to that thing. That's what I meant by that statement.
Attached to everyone?
It's a statement about trust and attachment, because attachment is a frequency of fear. Oh man, I actually got a call right now.
Right now, or like in 5?
In 5 minutes, yeah.
You need to prepare for
that. Not really. We can do a little bit longer, but yeah, we can pause this and then start it after it's done, because it'll only take like 15 minutes. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, all right, let's just pause it right now. You guys see we're fucking some busy ass motherfuckers out here saving the fucking world.
Gotta hustle.
we gotta hot like thrive. This is what I did a ceremony with my family last night. right?
Yeah.
And there were three things that. So what I did is like I got crystals and I put them in the water. I took a clear quartz that helps with all of your chakras, and I took
Yeah.
a pyrite that helps with prosperity. And
Nice.
the three lines were, I'm ready to be prosperous in times of struggle, right? That one was very important, right? Especially in times like this. Second one was I'm willing to let go of all that does not serve me, right? And number three was I'm willing to show love for the parts of myself and others that I believe do not deserve love. Yeah.
That's really good.
And then when you say it, then you take a chug of the purified water.
That's super cool. Yeah, there's something different about like, you know, crystal infused water. Like
On deck.
definitely something different, yeah.
On deck, dude. It feels like extra pure.
Yeah. It's like almost, I don't know if it's like our own brains tricking us or just like the power from it. Like, but something happens for sure. I think it's just the power of intention as well. Because intention can change things magically.
Yeah. And you have to humble yourself. You literally have to humble yourself like to a rock. You have to humble yourself to a rock. You know? Like,
It's true.
like
Really
that,
true.
you got to really be humble for that. You know what I mean? It's just to say, you know what? I'm going to accept the energy that this rock wants to provide for me. Like, you know, it's something about your heart. You got to open up your heart for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw this meme where there's like, Mom, do we have painkillers at home? No, we don't, but we have this crystal, this crystal, this crystal.
Add some essential oils.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Fuck painkillers, and we're going on a break. Because Sumedh is a fucking badass. Alrighty, see you soon.
All right, meeting delayed a little bit.
We're back, everybody. Welcome to the Fifth Dimensional Podcast. Where we talking about Reiki? We're gonna be talking about Ascension.
We're gonna talk about the fifth dimension out here.
Pack your bags and get ready to leave this coronavirus.
Cletus, did you bring the pyrite crystals?
They're right here, Mom. They're right here.
Bro, something. Ascension Billies.
Instead of the what is that show that used to this movie Hillbillies?
Squidbilly.
The like Hollywood Hillbillies, and it was like about these people, these like I mean, you know, not to disrespect white trash people, you know, white trash people.
Yeah.
And they were like they stepped on an oil well, right? And it literally it made them super rich, right? And then these other people who were not like hillbillies, then they tried to take advantage of them, right? They were like really rich people, right? But they tried to take advantage of them, right? And you know, it just kind of showed how you can really go from like nowhere to somewhere really fast, really fast.
Yeah.
If that is what is intended for you, right?
Yeah, but it's also like, I think sometimes like luck does fall on certain people's laps, but those people don't have that long-term success. I think the people who have that long-term success are like the people who are overnight 10-year success. You know what I mean? It happened overnight, but they worked 10 years to get to that one pivotal moment where they could get that opportunity.
God,
or squeeze through the front door or something like that.
It fucking sucks. But I guess,
man, you know what I'm seeing on the news here? Like, I know I shouldn't be watching the news, okay? But sometimes you want to be updated, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm not like obsessingly watching it like so many other people, but what I'm seeing is that like people are like hitting the police here are like hitting people with like batons if they're outside.
Bro,
And
bro.
yeah, and they're making people do squats, bro.
What do you mean they're making people do squats?
Like if they see them outside, they're gonna make them do like squats, like with their hands.
Exercises.
Yeah, exercises, bro. They just want them to have nicer booties.
Bro. They're like, hey, that's what I've been telling people, bro. Like after this coronavirus, like if you're the same person that you were before, like I'm sorry, but coronavirus should have got you, man. Like
Bro, like for instance, right? Like you see some people going to prison and then coming back like completely different.
mhm.
It's like you're in that solitary space and you're like just,
Yo, that's what the fourth dimension is, dude. That's you basically explain the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is like it's not good or bad, but it's a combination of a bunch of weird shit. Right? Like you'll see like
yeah.
if you get stuck in the fourth dimension, you'll see fucking spirits and whatnot, like moving around, like dragons
Yeah.
and fucking weird shit, bro. Cause that's the fourth dimension. These weird ass.
Yeah, it's like a portal, right? It's like a gateway.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's wild.
And if like the third dimension is like where lower vibrations are at, where it's the third, so it's like, well, the way I learned it was like the third dimension is all about learning up and down and left and right and masculine and feminine, right? And then the fifth dimension is more about like integration of like the entire spectrum within yourself.
Mm. Yeah. Have you ever watched the movie Lucy
No,
with
yeah,
Scarlett Johansson?
with the where she put the drugs, they put it inside her like stomach or whatever.
Yeah, she's like a drug mule. Yeah, that pops inside her.
God damn. Oh.
Yeah. Man, one line in that movie really stuck out to me is Morgan Freeman, right? Morgan Freeman always has these badass dialogues, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He has the voice for it too. He was like, "So you mean to say that time is unity?" I was like, "Bruh," because he was explaining like this idea of like what binds us, right? And time is what binds us all. And like she was talking about like if you speed up a car,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you just speed up the time that the car is passing by, it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and time is what gets you from like point A to point B or there was something in that movie that was really deep, like dialogue too.
I saw that scene, but I was really young and I didn't understand shit about it. I was like, what the fuck?
Right. Bro, I would rewatch it. It's so deep, like the whole movie. She becomes AI at the end. She's everywhere. Like, bro.
Yeah. She becomes everything. She becomes God at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. The movie is really wild and deep and profound.
Bro, she was like, where'd she go? And she's like, I'm right here. She's like the cell phone.
Yeah, she's on the like a text message. I'm everywhere.
That's what I call oneness. That's what I call
oneness right there. Yeah, 100% of your brain unlocked.
Dude, mind.
Everywhere.
More so like your mind. Or do you think your brain is limiting your mind?
Yeah. I mean, man, when that final scene where she's like time traveling and like going through all these, she sees dinosaurs, she sees like, like she's just like skipping through time, like she sees New Yorkers just like whizzing past her.
You know what? It's really incredible how this all binds together, because they're actually making a telescope right now that's it's gonna be like I don't know, like a few billion, right? But they're gonna be able to look back like 130 million light years into the past, right? Whoa. So look, watch this. So time is contained within light. Without light, the light is like a source is like a USB. The light is like your sperm, right? It's like it's got the information of what happened, of the event. Without the light, it's not. It's like the word. It's like a hard drive. Light is like a hard drive. and it's binded, and so it's like these Japanese people, they have this company and they created this camera where they can take pictures frame by frame of light moving, so they could like make it like it's like slow-mo, right? So every single frame by frame, right? And if light in general just stopped moving, we would become blind and we wouldn't be able to see anything, right? I think we would basically stop existing, right? Because we only exist because of the light.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Because
we are light. Yeah.
Bro, because look, when we burn things, what comes out? Fire. Why? Because light is inside of it.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That's trippy, right? That's really trippy.
Man, I had a trippy thought that I told you about a while back, which was like, is outer space like underwater? It's like different molecules, because you still float in space where you can't breathe. You have like certain qualities of it that is just like similar. You know what I mean? So what if it's just a different molecule version of water, like space? This is the stuff I think about.
That's black.
That's special.
Hey Brandon, what you got on? What you got on? Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. It's that's black. It's that's black.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, the little kid. Yeah.
He's a little boy, dude. I wish I would have had swagger like him.
Yeah. It's so good, that kid. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he has that sauce.
It is an interesting idea. So I kind of like bringing it back to coronavirus.
Right.
I would say stack up on the essentials. Factoid, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely say have an emergency plan, right?
Have a plan B. Not the pregnancy pill, but actual plan B.
I would say try to stay as high vibrational as possible. Right? And doing new things that will. So it's like I came up with like a list of a few things of like I call them strange things that'll make you high vibrational. And it's like one of them is like trying something new, a new thing that you've never tried before. Could be a new food, could be a new event, could be a new meditation, right? Trying something new, that's always gonna help raise your vibration, right?
Yeah.
Cold showers. Anytime you take cold shower, and then do breath work in the cold shower.
Oh, bro, I did some bioenergetic shaking in the shower. 2 weeks back. Yeah, I was just like letting the cold water like shake my body for me, and I just like let go completely.
Yeah, you notice that's what, dude. It's so funny, but I never realized this until I understood bioenergetics, and it was like when people are shaking with the cold water because they're so cold, it's actually trauma breaking. That's what.
Yeah, it's reintroducing the fear. Yeah, because you shake when you're afraid of something. Yeah.
True.
You're legit, like getting your body back into that trauma state by shaking. Yeah. But
cold water is very good for purifying. I would say stretch the parts of your body that you hate stretching the most. That's going to help raise your vibration, one of the highest, right? Because like I say, mind, body, soul is one. It's not three, right? So if there's stiffness in their body, there's stiffness in your thought.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. What I've seen is a lot of people are panicking. I have a few techniques for people who might be going through like panic attacks or things like that. I've noticed that when you get a panic attack, it's almost like a wake-up call from your body, and you want to be able to understand that like you're going to dissociate. You want to run away from what's happening right now. It's almost like an escape. So one thing that really helps is, and I got this from this guy called Driven. I don't know. I know his TikTok account, but it's super powerful. just get some ice and like squeeze the ice and focus on the cold. Because once you pay attention to your senses more, you'll start to come back to your body and out of your mind. So like the ice is really good, as well as like if you have something sour, like Sour Patch Kids or lemon, or like what is that thing that you drink? Apple cider vinegar, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you have something like that, it shocks the system, right? It's like, ooh, it's intense. And then intensity helps, it almost overrides the panic.
What is that called? They have like a word for it in neuro-linguistic programming, when it's like a pattern interrupt. It's a pattern interrupt.
Right. Yeah.
So outrageous. It's too left and it's too right. So it's like,
bro,
it stops you thinking. What's up?
This whole virus situation is a pattern interrupt for a lot of people. It's like, well, what do we do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's like, who are we going to trust? And I think in terms of that, like, I think it's important to trust the people that are level-headed, and they're showing leadership through the time of calmness.
You are spot on with that, dude. You are totally spot on, right? Because it's like, if someone is speaking outrageously, don't trust them, right? It's like they might be saying something
catastrophizing. Yeah.
It's like, what's the tone of their voice? And if in their tone they don't have peace, if in their tone they don't have a calmness, right? Don't listen to these people, because it's like they're going to be feeding you their emotional thoughts.
Their emotional blueprint, right? Yeah, it's like attached to yours.
Like if somebody says to me, Ivan, we've got to get ready for what is ahead. There's going to be serious changes, but we're going to get over it. I'll be like, you know what? Okay, you know what? It's serious, but I got it, right? But if someone to be like, it's crazy out there, it's crazy, it's so crazy, everyone's doing this, everyone's doing that, right? And then you're like, shit, well.
It's like the neurotic guy in the movies. Like you always see him like with a bunch of like notebooks, like trying to carry it, or like the intern, and like you've seen like that character in like all movies, like the nervous character. Has like nervous tics.
Maybe. Yeah. But it's sort of like the energy took over you, the fear took over you. So why would I trust you in what you're saying if if you've been taken over? Your it's already plagued, right? It's like, your immune system is okay because you don't have the corona, right? But what about your mental immune system, right? You go on social media, whole bunch of people sneezing on you all the time, right? They're sneezing ideas onto you all the time. You're looking at these glimpses, sneeze, going through your phone. The whole time, you're done. You're affected.
Yeah, it's a cough notification. Yeah. Whoa, bro. You said something really profound there. Yeah, it's their energy. R.S.D. Tyler, or Owen Cook, as we call him, he's posted a video, 2 of them, in fact. And the second one, he posted a clip from this movie called Apocalypto. And it showed like these tribes, like in that movie, and they were like talking with each other. Like this other tribe saw these other tribes like face to face, and then they were sort of like, the tribal leader was telling like his son or something, like, what did you see in their faces? He's like, I don't know, what did I see? And he was like, you saw fear. Right. And so he's saying that like how fear can like get people into like such a panic state. And even when the character of that father was like dying in the movie, he's like, don't be afraid. Like that was the last lines of his, like, bro, like it's such a powerful scene.
Dude.
Like initiation, like tribes, they understood that idea of fear and how toxic fear can actually be and how fast it can spread.
I just understood one of the most important characteristics of a leader, right? And whether you're in a leadership position or not, this is a quality that you need to have as a leader of your life, right? And in order to lead your own life, this is what you got to understand. You need to lead other people, because other people are integrated into your life, right? So being able to describe images is so important, right? Because some like that guy, he looked at those people, but he wasn't able to describe what was going on, right?
Yeah.
Same for many times. People are like, I have the image in my mind, but I don't know the words to use. I'm not able to describe it, right? It's like you have a sensation, you have a feeling, you have an image, but you're not able to put it into words.
Yeah, you don't have the actual words. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy because sometimes you can hear the words in your mind, but you're still not able to put them out there, right?
Yeah.
So that is actually a very, very key important aspect of someone who I would like to be in a leadership position.
Yeah. So you're saying the idea of like creating imagery or being able to verbalize something? What exactly is the quality?
Being able to verbalize what is going on. Like, just think about this. Just like, I mean, we take words for granted, right? But at one point, we didn't even have words, right?
Yeah.
We just had symbols. We weren't even putting it into words. We just had symbols. So we were creating images for other images. Yeah. Right? And then we added a sound to the image. And then we're like, you know what? This image is going to have this specific sound. Right? And that's how we were creating language, was like sound and image.
Yeah. Bro, there's something so primal and tribal about that, like symbolic, like creating a symbol out of something, and how our modern equivalent of that idea to do that, like hieroglyphics or like, you know, like the yin yang, or, you know, different religious institutions have different symbology, right? But our version of that in the 21st century is like emojis, memes, GIFs, you know what I mean? Like that's our version of that. We're creating symbols through this kind of new age platform.
Yeah.
So we're creating our own language.
Yeah,
in a way.
Language has evolved. Definitely, language has definitely evolved. I like it.
Now we can just we can swipe for a partner. Like it's like thousands of years back in the Victorian era, you know, they would never thought of that kind of technology. You could swipe on a person.
It would have been weird. Definitely would have been weird.
She does not have the corset to my liking. Swipe.
Bro. Yeah, it would have been like that. And I'm trying to tie this back to coronavirus somehow.
Bro, you're getting sidetracked. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's funny because it's not funny at all. I mean, we have to take this virus seriously, but what I meant by funny is like, it's interesting, it's intriguing, the fact that a virus has attained virality.
What?
Like a virus has become viral.
The virus being viral. Hey.
Virus become viral. Hey.
So I was like listening to this guy, and he was talking about how you can reverse aging. Literally, how you can reverse aging, right? And he just spoke about how you had to feed the microbiome, right? Don't eat for yourself, eat for the microbiome, right?
Damn.
And then
imagining this like little creatures like Neopets living inside you.
And then he said apparently there's like good viruses and bad viruses. And apparently like, so they created rats without bacteria in them, like we do. Like, so we have bacteria inside ourselves. That's the microbiome. And they created those, right? But they died really fast, right? So they had weak immune systems. They had weak strength. Like, so it's crazy, but it's like we're stronger because of the bacteria and germs that are living inside of us. Because if you take care of them, they're gonna like make sure that you're healthy as fuck.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important to like trust Western medicine, but also like trust a few of the different things that other people are trying, like alternative methods, like homeopathy. The whole idea of that is like putting a bit of the thing that you want to. Um, it works the similar ways of vaccine. Like you put in a little bit of the thing that you want to cure to strengthen the immune system. So in a very, very, very micro dose. So the body fights stronger against it.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of it, yeah.
And it just gets used to it. It doesn't get like so overpowered.
Yeah. It just gets accustomed to that. So the body,
I definitely say like, I always believe that life is like a game. And even when I look at astrology, I'm like, yo, astrology is like telling you what kind of player you have. You know what I mean? And numerology, numerology is telling you like how you're what kind of game you're in, right? What kind of game did you come to play, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to these bacterias and stuff that we're talking about,
they're bugs in the game. Maybe that's taking it too far, but
I don't know where I was going with this, but
well, do you believe in simulation theory?
Yeah, I do. Because
So do you think that in the future we're going to merge bionically, like we're going to like be half human, half machine?
I think we possibly could. And I wouldn't mind that happening. Right? But I will have to recognize this first, that the collective consciousness would have to be much higher for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it wouldn't. Because I mean, like for example, iPhone, Apple, the company, they have like generations of iPhone already ahead of its time, already created, right? But they're not released yet. Why? Because of business, because of money, right? So like we have a lot of amazing technology. I mean, we have cars that can run on water, right?
Yeah.
I know one time a guy made a car that could run on hugs. I'm not too sure that's real, right? But like
there's some weird inventions out there for sure.
The point is like we have the ability to live a renewable resource life, right? But because of like companies and corporations, we're just not really there yet, right? Because like capitalism is good, because I mean, if capitalism didn't exist, like they would try to keep up, like companies, if your company's dying on a socialist system, the government will give you money, right? But in the capitalist system, if your company's dying, you got to step it up, because usually because you're dying because somebody else is doing better than you. They came up with new innovation. So capitalism forces innovation, right? But at the same time, it also, once somebody has gotten really far, they're sort of limiting innovation for others.
Yeah. It's sort of like we've got to be adaptable, especially at a time like with a pandemic, you know, like we've sort of like all the social structures have changed. What's popular is definitely changed. And like, yeah, society as we know it has shifted into something completely different now. So the innovators are going to be the ones that people are going to look for, you know, like if you have let's say Gary Vee was saying something very interesting, like someone asked Gary for some advice, and what he was saying is she was basically making athleisure for women, right? That was her company. And right now it's sort of going slow. And what he suggested was to rebrand a type of athleisure for nurses, or specifically for the doctors who are helping out with this cause, to make it a charitable, to make it something like that would gain that viral, you know, longevity at this time. So leveraging this time, like, you know, being able to use it to the right ability to the right level is super important right now. And how we do that, I mean, it's up to us, but like you've got to change what you're doing around if you have a business or if
definitely, and be willing to change. Boom, right now. Act fast. Boom, right now. Right. That's the way.
Yeah.
Right. So actually, what I told my sister was like that the next few days I'm gonna dedicate myself to figuring out not only who am I going to be, right? Who am I going to become? Who is this shift? I'm about to transform. I'm about to shed out of my skin, right? My snake skin. And what kind of snake do I want to be, right? And what kind of snake do I also not want to be, right? A to become list and a to not become list, a to let go list, right? And for times like this, when we need more flexibility in who we are, we should say, yeah, I reacted like this, but how am I going to react now, right? Like I don't believe in saying like respond, because it's always a reaction. We only have reactions because it's our reactions. It's like something happens, and then all of the like points of our life, it bounces off through those points of our life and how we responded in other situations. So it's like all subconscious. So even like when you react in a positive way, it's a subconscious way of like that came first, and then you're like, yeah, I'm a positive. Your subconscious said you're a positive, calm person, and you always show love in times of struggle. And then you were like, you know what? I'm a fucking right. This is who I am, right? And if you don't believe that you are that person, if you don't believe that you are that happiness, that you are that love, then you're gonna get something else.
Yeah, identity definitely shifts people, and like it can either hold you back or it can make you a greater version of you. And it's really important to choose the right kind of character in your avatar, right? Like you've been given all these choices on what to choose, and it's important to choose the ones that are going to inspire and going to help others to move. Because, Tony Robbins was never Tony Robbins, right? He created that character of that Tony Robbins guy so that he could help more people. Yeah. And so similarly, we have to sort of adjust ourselves to our higher self and think like, yeah, what would help a huge number of people? Like, who would other people want to look up to and see like in me? I think a really interesting thing for the subconscious, like a technique that someone on a mastermind that I'm a part of said, is that he has the words higher self evolved on his roof, so his ceiling. So whenever he wakes up, that's the first thing he sees when he opens his eyes. And I was like, damn, that's a really good idea, man. Like, thank you for sharing that.
You see when you wake up.
Yeah. Most people check their phones, right? And it's like some random nasty text or some weird email or something strange in the news feed. But if we see something positive first thing in the morning, our subconscious adapts to that.
See, feel, look. Well, see and look are the same. Kind of the same.
Kind of, yeah.
So yeah, it's the auditory, the visual, and the kinesthetic, right?
Yeah.
When you wake up, make sure that you have a feeling of something that connects you to high vibration. Feeling, a real feeling, right? What is the first thing that you say to yourself? What is the first thing that you hear? What are you hearing? What are you saying? How are you speaking? Right? And if you're speaking like you're tired, start speaking like you're not tired. Right?
Yeah, man. I've noticed that in myself, actually. Like the days where I'm like talking to myself and I'm like, oh man, I only got 4 hours of sleep. If I believe that storyline, I'm gonna feel tired throughout the day, bro. But if I tell myself I've got more than 8 hours of sleep, and you convince your mind of that, you actually start to feel different. Like your body actually starts to adapt to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing what our body and mind can convince ourselves of, you know. It's a technology.
Technology. Your mind is technology. You're technology,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
And that's why we're in a simulation.
The end.
That's how we can conclude this podcast episode.
This is all a glitch in the matrix. Yeah.
I don't know if there's glitches in the matrix. I think the matrix wants to be seen. The matrix wants to be acknowledged as a matrix.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's a lot of people optimizing the matrix. Like for instance, like I'll give you an example. Ed Sheeran.
Mm.
Because you think about Ed Sheeran, right? He's singing all these songs of heartbreak and loss
Mm-hmm.
and poetry
Mm.
and, you know, all this kind of stuff, like describing his past exes and the old relationship.
Mm-hmm.
People like to hear that, right? People want to put their narrative into Ed Sheeran's lyrics. But Ed Sheeran, I mean, he's partying, you know, he's profiting off of it. He's out all these hot girlfriends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's just profiting off of the matrix. But he knows that that's what people respond to. I'm sure he's aware of it.
It's
Similar
true.
to a lot of musicians, artists out there. They're using the system for their benefit.
That's true. That's true, bro. That is true. But I think some of these people are sellouts. Like with the Future.
Yeah.
That guy talks a lot about doing drugs, and in an interview he said, I don't even do drugs, man. I just talk about it because I know it sells. Like that just shows
Yeah,
you,
that's
that just shows you like how much orange vibration is in the I should say orange spiral dynamics thinking.
yeah. It's so interesting because with a lot of rappers, I've noticed like they rap themselves, they manifest their lives. You know what I mean? So they don't have the riches right now. They're in their parents' basement rapping. They don't have all that stuff, but they're rapping, and then they end up getting it. Also, like, yeah, it's not like you don't want to be fake because that's, again, it's not going to lead to that long-term success. The reason Eminem like went through the whole process of getting to where he is now, he was real the whole time. You know what I mean?
Acknowledging that, like, if that's not where you are, that's just not where you are. You know what I
And
mean?
he transitioned over time. You know, he became sober, but so what? Like, he still owned that fact, and he was real with it. He called one of his albums that, like, recovery for, you know.
Right.
So
You know, it's like if you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Well, you know you're not a millionaire, right?
yeah,
So you're not gonna become a millionaire, right? So instead, use intention and honesty, right? And vision. So I think when we do affirmations, those are the like three key elements: intention, vision, and honesty, right?
yeah. I
It's
would
like,
also say embodiment is a huge aspect of it.
yeah, embodiment. Because instead you should say, well, I'm grateful for the house I live in. I mean, I live in a house. I ate, right? I'm eating,
Yeah,
right? I've been eating all my life, right? I'm not dead. I've had a house my whole life. I mean, I'm not, maybe I was homeless, not homeless anymore, right? Or maybe you are homeless right now listening to this podcast, right? Well, just say, well, I'm happy for the home that I'm going to be receiving in the future, right?
mm,
Well, because I mean, it's almost guaranteed, right?
right.
Like,
Sometimes I feel like with the affirmations of the future, it kind of like sets it maybe farther into the future. I know it's important to have that like projection. However, if he just focuses like, yo, I have a cardboard box right now, you know, like I have some kind of, you know, whatever he has at present, the homeless person, like, you know, someone gave me a coin today. Like, still something. Like, you can still launch yourself from something. One little dopamine hit of a coin, you have the choice of what to do with that. You can save it, or you can just, you know, get a pack of smokes with it or something and like, get that instant hit, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is all about like knowing when to project into the future and when to not project into the future.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think some projection into the future is important, right? It's like if you say no matter what, I'm fine, or if you say no matter what, I choose love, which is some of my favorite affirmations. Well, you're saying that in the future you're going to be choosing love, right?
Yeah, I do this one where I'm like, I'm not that kind of person yet.
Yeah.
And like one affirmation that's really powerful is, this day is going to get even better. The key word is even, because it's like, it's already good. It's going to get even better.
Even better. Yeah. And then like, let's just say, you could also say stop using the word but and replace it with the word and. Yeah,
it's a theater technique as well. Yes, and. Yeah, for improv, yeah.
Because like if you say but, you're negating it. You're negating what came before, right? But if you say and, it's like you're adding to it. You're adding to the acknowledgement.
Exactly. And you have to be strategical about it. Like, you can use but. Like, for an instance, like, a lot of people say not to spend money on a coach, but, right? And then you justify, like, why it's good. So you can also use it for your benefit. But yeah, if you're using...
dude, watch this one. Like, I'm going to use that example you said. Sometimes people say that you shouldn't get a coach. And I would agree with them. If you just wanted to stay exactly where you are, I would agree and say you don't need to get a coach, right? Oh, shit. But if you do want to become good, if you do want to change, I'd say getting a coach, doing personal one-on-ones, that's the fastest way to change, man. Like, like doing a whole program is like, even doing an online program is a bit of a pain in the ass, right? But if you just go directly to that person, it's just somehow really easy.
Yeah, it's nice to have like practical one-on-one mentoring, like with a person who knows their shit, you know, like who has been through the journey themselves. I think mentorship is important, like someone older than you who has that wisdom, so you don't make their same mistakes, and they can guide you through a better, brighter day.
I just think like, do you have what I want? That's it, right? Do you have what I want, right? And then if you have what I want, how are you getting that? Am I okay? Because like, let's just say money. Well, somebody who's like a coal miner, well, I'm like anti-coal mining, right? Because, well, there's other renewable resources that we can use that are more efficient and will last longer, right? So it's like, yeah, you got the money, but how did you get it? No, I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want it the way that you got it. The way that you got it, maybe that's too hard. And I would say there's such thing as too hard, right? Maybe it's not that I'm anti-working, right? I'm just anti-working too hard, because sometimes we'll make it harder on ourselves, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So I only go to people who have what I want in the way that I want it, and if not, then it's a no-go. Then why would I want to become like you if what you have is like, why would I take your advice if you're losing right now?
Right.
Why would I take your advice?
Yeah. And it's almost like I've done this thing for myself where now that if I buy a new book, I start to ask myself the question of like, who's the author and what is their life like? Like, does it reflect the kind of life that I want for myself? Do I wish to embody their words and philosophy through what I'm reading about them or through their words? And yeah, that's been super helpful, and it stopped me from, stacking up and just being in this shelf help. They call it shelf help at times instead of self-help.
Shelf help. It's helping your shelf. It's helping your shelf look nice with all those books.
Yeah, exactly.
It's helping you look smart.
Decoration.
Whenever you bring someone over, they're like, "Oh shit, you read, huh?" Yeah,
Oh, you're a reader.
Yeah, I like books. Actually, I like books.
Books are nice, man. What's something that you've been reading or audiobooking?
Right now?
Yeah.
Recently? Nothing. I haven't been, even podcasts, I haven't been listening to many podcasts. I've just been like, mainly right now, reanalyzing myself, right? Like, and like, I'm at the, okay, so it's like that one quote that we posted on the Better Man podcast Instagram was like, to become like smart, knowledgeable, keep adding things every day, right? And to become wise, keep taking things away, right? So right now, I'm at the point where I'm just like focused on removing things from myself instead of adding.
Yeah, so important. And it's tough. It's not easy, especially if it's like things from childhood or, like different things that really resonate with you that are part of your identity. And it's not easy, man, to remove, but it's so crucial, because how are you going to store new knowledge if you have all that old one weighing you down?
Like food. Food is such a big one. Like, I know like so many people that are like, I mean, I've seen people that are morbidly obese, right?
Yeah, man.
And they just like, they blame it on their genes. They blame it on their genetics. They blame it on their birth. Like they were born like that. Like, no, you were not born like that. Okay. Like, it's all in the food. It's literally everything is in the food. Everything is in the food, man. Everything is in the food.
Yeah.
Right. And we're so stuck by tradition of what our parents fed us, right? Because like, you notice someone who's like really big, typically they have a really big parents too, right? Or you, like, if someone is fit, their children are typically fit.
Yeah,
right?
because they're also imitating that.
Yeah.
Lifestyle choices.
That is wrong. Like fucking Cristiano Ronaldo's son, dude, that kid's got some hard rock abs.
Really? I haven't seen this kid.
Dude, he's fit. He's real fit, dude. It's like, damn.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good to start from that young age. How old is the kid?
Dude, I don't know. He's like little. He's like 7, 9.
That's good. That's really young.
Mm-hmm.
Because 0 to 7 is super crucial. So if he's like been fit from that long, it's in his subconscious programming. So he's gonna grow up, do some athletic things. Yeah.
And I mean, what I would say to people whose children didn't end up like them was like, don't force anything upon them. Like, don't force them, because that force is like, in a way, holding them, making them unable to actually go for what they want, right? Because then we're like, it's like the person isn't able to meet that expectation, and then they have guilt, right? And instead of actually doing what they want, they're so stuck by the guilt. They're stuck between the guilt. They're stuck in the fourth dimension, right? They're literally stuck in the fourth dimension with the guilt, right?
True.
Because they could be
They're trying to manifest, but they can't. They're sort of stuck there. Yeah.
They could be doing what they want to be doing, but because of the guilt, you're stuck in that transitioning point.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Oh, dude, I just realized some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
That, you know how like different parts of ourselves are on different levels of energy?
Yep.
Some parts of us are already in the fifth dimension, and some parts of us are stuck in the fourth dimension. Some other parts of us are like just not even, they're not even in the fourth dimension yet. They're in the third dimension.
Yeah.
Damn.
3D rat race society, you know, just follow the track. Yeah. Yeah, man. And it's very tempting, right? Mediocrity is super tempting. It's like you can go and approach women, but then you have pornography. You can go and eat healthy, but there's a chocolate bar in front of you, right? It's like temptation for mediocrity. All the stuff around us that's just keeping us, all the plastics full of estrogen, stopping men from attaining that high level of testosterone. Like, it's just, all of this stuff is against the thrivers that is out there to sedate, to numb. Like, this is getting really like overly hippie, but you know, or like some kind of philosophical
You're
political
right, though.
statement.
No, you're right though.
But
It's
that's
easy
what it
to be
is.
weak. It's easy to be weak,
It's
right?
so easy.
Because there's even
Yeah.
people who get stuck in the like, what the government gives you money, right?
Yeah.
People stay poor just so they can continue to receive that money, right? And they're like, the government's always gonna take care of me, so I don't really need to do anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's very easy to become weak.
It's like they're not letting that event become their trampoline for better things. They're just sort of laying down on the trampoline and thinking, this is comfortable. I'll just stay here.
Comfort, 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 comfort.
Comfort food.
You can
Yeah,
either
they call it
expand-
comfort food.
You can either expand your comfort zone or make it smaller.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I think like you always sort of want to be at a stretch zone, meaning like you kind of want to be evolving and stepping your toe into the murky water a little bit. Because the higher dimensions is uncertain. It can be an adventure or it can be a disaster. So it's like the unknown, the uncertainty can be hesitation, but it can also be nervous energy, right? So it's like two sides of the coin.
You know, yeah, you could, I think like if you want to like really raise your consciousness, you have to be willing to like actually say, you know what, I'm giving up this side of me, right? Because, and it all goes back to identity, who you think you are. Because like, people, I know people who take LSD and they have good trips. Other people take it and they have a bad trip, right? And
Yeah.
all LSD does is it just expands your mind, whether you're ready or not, right? Whether you're ready or not, it's gonna just, right, explode.
Yeah, man. Like if you have a murky stuff in your subconscious mind and you're tripping, it's like, yeah, that stuff's gonna come out, you know, and it might be in the form of a bad trip, but it's really about you, you know, like it's trying to awaken you to something. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever comes up, say it was me. It was because of me, right? And then do something about that. And then realize that your emotions and thoughts and beliefs are just a compass. They're just a compass.
Yeah. And I think like, yeah, like, because I've studied flow states so much, I think psychedelics is almost like a cheat code, like in the game that we're talking about, the simulation. It's almost like a cheat code to taste the divine or to taste the kind of altered state or peak experience. It's not long term, but it gives you like an understanding of what that transcendent state of ego death feels like. Like you're losing your sense of body, like I am me, and you're shedding your skin almost, your perception of who you thought you were. Because it's like, yeah, you know that you're Jimmy or you're Bill, but you're looking in the mirror and your face is melting. So it's like, whoa, you know, like who I thought I was, I'm seeing a version that is not me. And so that trips people up in terms of the identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Identity,
Yeah.
who you identify as. How would you break up identity?
You're denting your personality. Leaving a mark. I dent. You leave a dent in a girl's titty.
Those were fake. Those were some fake boobs, bro. You left a dent, bro.
Yeah.
It's like bionic tits in the future. They're like made out of metal.
Yeah.
And they like, in terms of like trouble, like they become like guns. Like,
yeah. Nerds in the future are gonna have sex robots, and they're gonna call them Silicon Valleys.
Dude, and they'll be able to like actually have kids with the robots.
What? Bruh.
Yeah, I predict it's gonna be like the episode of Rick and Morty.
And they'll fall in love with the robots. A new gender orientation called robosexuality.
Oh, dude. We're on to something.
Yeah. Bruh, I love these conversations. I hope the audience is enjoying it. I know like a lot of people are on lockdown, but you know, humor is so important. Like laughter is so important during this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a funny situation to be in, but if you don't laugh, you're gonna build yourself into a serious spiral. You know what I mean? Like a serious spiral. Like you're just grumpy. You're in your own head. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to conclude, but I want to give like my take on like just like summarize how to survive this epidemic.
Sure. You can give some tips, and I'll give some as well for the people. You go first.
1, be generous. Continue to be generous. Continue to give. Right. This is not time to be greedy. Right. And by giving, you are showing yourself and the universe that you are prosperous in times of struggle. Right. Number 2, buy some chickens. Get a chicken in your house. Get it to give you some eggs. Right. You don't have to leave the house anymore. Right. They're organic. Right.
Start farming. Yeah.
Right. If you have the ability, you can definitely farm. Right.
Yeah. Planting those seeds.
Number 2, spend time in nature. Spend time with the dirt. Spend time in the water. Right. Things that are natural. Spend time with that to keep your vibration high.
Yeah, and even if you're like in the big city and you don't have access to that like kind of stuff, you can still like have plants.
Yeah.
Like have little potted plants around you. That's some kind of form of life around you.
Mm-hmm. I would even tell people like if you live in a city and you're not able to like, you don't have your own garden, well, go real quick to some sort of store and get yourself some dirt, get yourself some plants, right? And then do it. You know what I mean? Like just create it on your balcony, create it in the room or something, right? Like literally.
I saw someone the other day like reusing an old bathtub that they threw away for like potted, like to put dirt inside it for like a garden in the back.
Dude, that looks so. I just imagined it, and I imagined it with a bunch of crystals and candles around it. So
yeah, dude.
That sounds really nice too. Like make half of the bathtub like for the plants, and then the other half where you could sit down in the dirt. You know what I mean? I mean, just throwing out these ideas out there. Like you can do something. You know, you're still able to maintain a high vibration and set the intention. This is another one. Set the intention to be able to communicate to others in a way that allows them to put their guard down, right? And to listen carefully to what you have to say, right? Learn that is going to be very important in times of where things can be chaotic, right? Things can be very chaotic out there. You might run into somebody in the store and they're like, you're over here getting your essentials, and people are just like, they're being, ignorant or something. Learning to communicate to somebody in a way that puts their guard down, and that is very key. If you want to learn how to do that, I would suggest you go and you read my book, Command Respect. Learn to set boundaries using consciousness, psychology, and the law of attraction, where you will learn how to set boundaries between you, yourself, and God in a way that respects you, others, and God, and in a way that has a positive impact on you, others, and God.
Yeah, guys. And also, like, a couple of things from my side, like, if you have post-it notes, just like write positive affirmations and just start like pasting them everywhere, like for people, like when you go to the store, just like put it in the ice cream aisle.
Oh, dude, that sounds so nice.
All right.
So
Yeah. I'm back.
you're saying take sticky notes and like put them in like the refrigerator aisle and stuff like that. Like leave little messages for other people around the world, and they're going to be seeing them.
Yeah. That would be a great idea, because it's like, yeah, you can save someone's life, like that. What if they see that in the right moment, the right time? It can really shift someone's consciousness. And
then
a couple of other things
at the bottom of the post-it note, put like 444.
Yeah, 1111. Yeah. I have some stuff written down.
Oh yeah, nice.
I was gonna post this, but I'll just share it with people.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is like staying informed but not obsessively checking the news. Second thing is focusing on the things that I can control. Staying digitally connected with friends through Zoom or any kind of digital platform, Skype, Zoom, Facebook call. Creating more than I'm consuming. Maintaining rituals as best as I can. Realizing the truth of I'm not alone in this. And most importantly, turning to people in my life who are thoughtful, level-headed, and good listeners.
Yeah,
that's what I have for you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, check out Verbal Vinyasa, because it's awesome. It's popping right now. If you guys would like a discount code, you can shoot me an email.
No, we're not doing discounts, guys. No, I'm sorry. Sumedh lied to you right there. We're not doing discounts. We're not devaluating. It's like, just imagine you come to Sumedh. He's going to come and change your life. He's got his way with tonality, right? His ability to understand sound, which will literally influence your entire ecosystem and the ecosystem of other people. And you're coming in here for a big change. And you're like, you know what? Like, I'm going to ask for a discount because I'm the kind of person that likes to cut corners, right? Well, you're going to cut corners on the thing, man. You're going to cut corners. It's like,
oh yeah, I'm just saying because a lot of people are like out of work right now. So if that is your case, if you have a specific situation where you can't afford it, send me a message. Mm-hmm. But then otherwise, yeah, if you can't afford it, if you have some online business going on for you, if you have a roof over your head, if you're surviving, like, yeah, definitely I would appreciate that you pay the full amount. But just for the people, who maybe are thinking about
why don't you make it instead? Why don't you give a discount instead to the people who are on the front line right now? right? So like if you work in the groceries, if you work deliveries, if you work for like
That sounds good.
healthcare, like you deserve some help right now.
For sure. Yeah, so if you're a healthcare professional, if you're working in a grocery store, if you're, doing deliveries, all those people, yeah.
A psychologist,
Get some
you're a
discount.
psychologist right now, right? Or a
Yeah.
personal coach. I mean,
Yeah.
people right now need you right now. People really need you.
That's true. Yeah, I'm getting some virtual consultation. So if you are interested in that, I'm here to lend my open ears and open heart. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Everybody, be the best. Forget the rest.
May the flow be with you.
Ice Nation.
Peace.
And hit the like button, guys. Come on, go hit the like button.
Press the subscribe, bro.
Or you're gonna get Ebola. You're gonna get Ebola and Corona at the same time.
For